I have been a long-haul truck driver for nearly 10 years. I have seen my fair share of strange things on the road, but there is one night that still haunts me to this day. It was in late November, just past midnight, when I was driving along an old rural highway that I rarely used. The fog was thick enough to blur the trees on either side, and the air had that bone-chilling dampness that seeps into your clothes. I had been on the road for hours without a single passing car. The road signs had grown older and scarcer the deeper I drove, and even my GPS started to lag. I was trying to make it to a rest stop about 40 miles ahead when I noticed a faint flicker in the distance. At first, I thought it was a reflector or maybe the tail light of another vehicle, but as I approached, I realized it was a lantern. There was a figure standing on the side of the road. Cloaked, hunched, holding an old-fashioned lantern that glowed a pale yellow against the mist. My first thought was that it was a stranded traveler. I slowed down, rolled my window halfway, and called out, asking if they needed help. They didn't respond. They only turned their heads slightly toward me, and that's when I noticed their skin. It looked burnt, charred, like the remnants of something pulled out of a fire. I felt uneasy, but I couldn't just leave someone out here. Against my better judgment, I pulled over and stepped out with my flashlight. The cold air hit my face and the fog wrapped around me instantly. The figure didn't move, just kept the lantern raised. When I took a step closer, it swung the lantern once. Then again. And a third time. I remembered a story an older driver had once told me over coffee at a rest stop. He said if you ever see a lantern swinging 3 times on a deserted road, you turn back. It means you've met the lantern keeper. My heart pounded. I stepped back toward my truck, but something about the road ahead felt heavier, darker. Like the fog itself was urging me forward. I got back in the truck and locked the doors, telling myself it was just some local pulling a prank. I drove on, keeping an eye on the rearview mirror, but the glow of the lantern never faded. It was following. After a few miles, the GPS completely froze and the familiar landmarks were gone. The road ahead looked like it was stretching unnaturally long, the same trees looping over and over as if I was stuck in a circle. I tried turning on the radio for some distraction, but all I got was static. Then, in the static, I heard faint creaking, like a lantern's handle swaying. A shadow crossed the beam of my headlights. I slammed the brakes. There he was again, standing right in the middle of the road this time, lantern swinging side to side. My horn blared, but he didn't flinch. I threw the truck into reverse, planning to back out of there, but the road behind me was swallowed by fog. There was no end, no turn, nothing. The figure started walking toward me slowly. Each step was heavy, echoing in my chest like a heartbeat. I could finally see its face when it came close enough. The skin was cracked and scorched, the mouth stitched shut with what looked like thin black wire. The eyes were hollow, not sockets, just deep darkness with a faint orange glow far inside. I floored the gas, swerving past him and tearing down the road ahead. My headlights caught glimpses of old road signs, rusted and unreadable, some bent at odd angles. I kept driving until my fuel gauge started dropping dangerously low. My phone battery was nearly dead and there was still no signal. Then, I saw lights. A row of them in the distance. Relief flooded me as I approached what looked like a gas station, but when I stopped and stepped out, my breath caught in my throat. The building was abandoned. Windows boarded up, pumps rusted over, the sign swinging in the wind with no name left on it. The lantern glow appeared in the glass reflection beside me. He was standing just a few feet away. This time the lantern wasn't swinging, it was steady, glowing brighter than before. I backed into the truck, slammed the door, and drove with every ounce of fuel left. I didn't care which way I went. I just drove. At some point, exhaustion must have taken me because I remember blinking and suddenly I was on the main highway again, clear signs, my GPS recalculating, and the dawn light creeping over the horizon. My fuel tank was still low, but not empty, as if the last few hours had been a blur of nightmare. When I finally made it to a real gas station, an older man behind the counter noticed how pale I looked. I told him about the lantern. He just nodded slowly and said, "You should count yourself lucky. Most who follow him don't make it back." I have avoided that road ever since. Other truckers have spoken about seeing the same figure, always on foggy nights, always past midnight. They call him the Lantern Keeper. Some say he was once a caretaker of a road that burned down decades ago, taking dozens of travelers with it. Now he guides others to join them. Sometimes, when I'm driving late and the fog rolls in thick, I catch a faint glow in the corner of my eye. I grip the wheel tighter and never, ever slow down.